My question started forming when that beautiful woman was up yesterday talking about how much she loved people, how much she could just see people and want to hug them and kiss them and love them up. And I don't feel that. I feel very, just kind of distant from people. But I recognize that. I recognize her in me. I recognize that that's how I'm supposed to feel or how I want to feel. And so my question started forming specifically with my work and with employees, and I've struggled a lot with loving them and recognizing the best in them and recognizing the best in their abilities. And I have an opportunity now. I'm getting promoted, and I need to find my replacement, basically. And I really want to do a good job finding this person. I really want to see them, and I want to see their ability, and I want it to be fun, and I want it to be creative and effortless, and all those wonderful feelings you get when you're co-creating with somebody in a professional environment, and you're just coming up with ideas and improvements. But I'm scared. I've got this old vibration going about, I've not done this well in the past. I've gone through a lot of
people. Well, let's talk about this. And it's nice, the juxtaposition that you have set this up in, because everyone remembers the conversation from yesterday. So let's start there just a little bit. And at the basis of this conversation is the all-important premise of unconditional living. Unconditional alignment, unconditional love, unconditional alignment, unconditional clarity, which means I've practiced it from the inside out. Most people are trying to get there, and they can't from the outside in. The conditional way to feel all of the things that you're wanting to feel is look around for all of the positive evidence around you. But the problem with that is when you're looking around for the positive conditions, you're training yourself to be conditional. So the positive conditions are available to you, and so are the not so positive conditions available to you, because you're looking in that way. Jerry and Esther's publisher encouraged them not to read the reviews, but it was enticing because there were so many wonderful reviews of people talking about the life-changing experiences that they'd had, and every now and again there'd just be an awful review that would make them question their existence at all. And so he said to them, don't read them. And so in the same way, we are not saying that once you get your momentum going that you will not be attracted to all kinds of awareness of all kinds of wonderful conditions. But we're saying you're wanting to do it from the inside out, not from the outside in. So conditional living is sort of outside in. I like that and that and that and that and that and that and that, and that makes me feel good. Unconditional living is finding that basis of well-being that is so soft and subtle and easy to find, and then just holding it. You hold a thought for as little as 17 seconds, another thought like it will join it, and then it becomes more. Another 17 seconds, another thought like it joins it, until you cross the 68-second mark. Once you cross that 68-second mark, you've got significant enough momentum going that ideas and emotions are now already flowing. After 68 seconds of non-diluted, non-resisted thought about something. So, as we introduce into this conversation this subject of unconditional alignment, what we want to say to you is, without you meaning for it to happen, others have trained you into some expectations. And our friend from yesterday had to do a very significant thing in order for the momentum to be able to happen for her relative to this feeling of unconditional love that she found. She had to care more about how she felt than about how they felt. And that's a little tricky when you're in a work environment, or when you're in a management environment, or where you're in an environment where you have responsibility for others and you're being watched. This is the thing that happens with so many of you. You feel their eyes on you. Mm-hmm. You feel their eyes on you, and therefore so much. We're speaking about nearly 100% of the population once you get past the age of 8 or 9. As the eyes on you begins to dominate the way you behave. So when you were describing, and when she was describing, it was interesting that she is just loving easily, and often now that feeling of alignment is sort of overtaking her with inspiration, so that she is behaving in overt and obvious ways with people who may not be quite ready for all of that alignment. In other words, you just can't run around in the world and be kissing on everybody. But if you're really in sync, your impulse will come to those who are at least in the vicinity. Sort of like our finding of you here in the audience. If you're in the vicinity, you're easy to find. So all of that was our way of saying to you that you are like everybody else. You've let them train you. Jerry said on more than one occasion early on, as we were talking about expectations, because expectations are everything. Your expectation about a person or about an experience or about an outcome, it's a powerful word. It's a powerful vibration behind the word, because an expectation blends together desire and belief, all rolled into one emotion, one feeling. And so we were talking with Jerry in those days about how your expectation really matters. And he said, but sometimes it feels like my expectation wasn't there first. They behaved in some way, and then my expectation occurred. And we say today, you had a general expectation that was individually proven to you by the people that you meet. So if it is your expectation that people are going to perform at their best, then you bring the best out of everyone. If your expectation is that they need to be well trained, Esther and Jerry, remember, Esther talked about it a lot. There was an ad in a magazine that she saw on an airplane. And it was about the hotel, the Helmsley Hotel in New York. And the ad said, we don't hire people and tell them to be nice. We hire nice people. And there was something so resonant about that. Now we would like to take that sentiment further. We would like to say, you're not looking for someone that is perfect in every way. You're looking for someone who will enjoy that role, who will be happy in that role. Mm-hmm. Not effective. If you will say, I'm looking for someone who'll be happy in that role, not someone who'll be good at it, or someone who'll be effective at it, or someone who'll be able to wrestle the rascals to the ground and keep them in line. Someone who'll be happy in that role. That replacement will be fast for you. Mm-hmm. Now that brings us to a really important question that we want to ask you. Were you happy in that role?
Yeah.
Why?
Why was I happy? Because I had a lot of freedom. I had
freedom to
create the role
creative
the way I
freedom.
wanted.
Oh, creative freedom. There's nothing more delicious than creative freedom. So you had creative freedom. What other things can you pinpoint that made it feel so good that you were happy in that role?
I felt like I always could find the answer. I felt like I had the tools that I needed to always create the data that I needed to support whatever function I needed, whatever process I needed for improvement.
What else?
I felt confident.
Yeah, what else?
I felt appreciated.
Yes.
I felt supported.
There's where we want to go. By who?
By my boss, by my superior.
What else?
I felt well compensated.
What else?
I felt like he believed in me. He saw something in me that even I didn't know was there.
Yep.
Like he put me in roles that I was like, oh my God. But
he was mentoring you well. What else?
What else?
What we're reaching for is those that you were mentoring, your relationship with them.
I've struggled with that. I haven't enjoyed that.
Yeah. And yet that is the primary component of the next person who's going to be happy in that place. Because you were enjoying what was happening, what you were being uplifted to. Mm-hmm. but there was a sort of kink in the hose there just a little bit.
Right, it wasn't really flowing down. It wasn't.
And so what do you think that's about? Were they disappointing you? Were they not very good at what they did? Did you feel like you had to do it all? Did they let you down a lot? Were there lots of missing pieces? So it sort of felt to you like you had to do it.
I definitely have this theme in my life of like not being supported.
So isn't that interesting? And so the person that you're looking for to plug into that place got to be somebody with a strong back, got to be somebody who's willing to do it all themselves, got to be somebody who also won't be supported, who won't mind not being supported, who will just tough it out anyway.
Yeah.
So that's why you're feeling sort of a disconnect in that, isn't it? So what you're moving to, this promotion that you have, is it also a leadership position? So there will be others that you will be mentoring?
Well, I'm still going to be responsible for the department I'm responsible for now, and I have another department I'm responsible for now that I feel no ability to mentor her. I don't know.
So the stakes just got higher. You just put more on your back to carry around, essentially. So what are you going to do about that? The conversation that we had about Esther relative to so many things is applicable here too. So we have some questions for you. Easy answers for you too. Do you believe that this is a vibrational experience?
Yes.
And do you believe that law of attraction is the dominant factor in all creation?
Yes.
And do you believe that you have a relationship with source energy?
Yes.
And do you believe that source is mentoring you all the time?
Yes.
And do you believe that when you are feeling good, that source mentoring is really obvious to you?
Yes.
And do you believe that everyone else has that same mentoring from source?
Yes.
Do you believe that your department could function without your specific attention and involvement?
That's a little sticky.
And so that's the rub.
Yeah.
Because that's going against universal forces. It's going against the laws of the universe. It's equivalent to, and this is going to sound silly, but it is equivalent to, instead of getting in your vehicle and getting behind the wheel, putting a friend in that position, and you getting under the hood and helping the belts and the pistons. I need to be involved here because I don't trust this engine as far as I can throw it. But you do. You know that all that's going to do what it's going to do, and your part is different. We know there's a lot going on. We know that there's a lot of knowledge that you are imparting. We know that there are a lot of moving parts. We know that you feel a lot of responsibility. We know that you are integral to the whole. We know that you are effective and efficient and helpful in the outcome. And we know that anybody who's trying to create anything would be well served having someone like you in the mix, if you're standing in that world of action and precision and leaving out of the equation the energy that creates worlds. And so that's what your struggle is stepping more into that vibrational world and a bit more out of that gotta wrestle it to the ground and control it world.
Yeah.
So you do believe that this is a vibrational world, and you do believe that law of attraction is afoot. Do you believe that you are intuitive?
Yes.
Do you believe that inspiration comes to you? Do you shine in a crisis?
Yes.
Because the crisis causes you to focus. Do you feel good while you're shining in the crises? Relatively speaking.
Yeah.
Relatively
sometimes.
speaking, because it evokes praise from above, and we're not talking about us. It evokes praise from those who also believe in the action.
Yeah.
And in the focus and concentration and all of that. What we want you to hear from us, and we really, really want you to feel what we are conveying to you here. everything's just fine, and nothing is far out of alignment.